Male character rolls a high charisma female character. Male character rolls up a female character. That's some meta shit. Hey, what's up everybody, I'm SkyDieRay and welcome to another episode of DnDGreentext. As always, I hope you'll enjoy this video. Be me, Human Warlock. Be not me, DM, Tabaxi Ranger, Half Giantess Paladin, Human Rogue, she didn't show, was controlled by DM. Get to shitty rundown tavern, want to stay the night. Me, Paladin and Rogue all pay the 1 silver fee. Ranger is being stingy and refuses to pay. Tries to deceive the tavern owner. I help, we say that she's my pet magical cat. We're all rolling 17s to 20s and the DM rolls for the guy to see if he buys it. Natural 1. We've just convinced this man that this Tabaxi is one of 2 magical cats in the entire universe, and our ranger decides to explain to him that he has to go to the celestial plane to find the other. Mother buys it. We've just driven this poor dwarven dude insane. He gets giddy every time he sees our ranger. My face when he's considering selling his tavern to get to the celestial plane. My face when our ranger paid the silver fee anyway. Why do people in D&D each occupy a 5 foot by 5 foot square? How far apart do you think people need to be? Why are D&D minis afraid of touching? D&D minis standing 5 feet apart in a dungeon because they're not gay. Look, if the guy to my left has to do the Turbo Macarena while charging a bolt of flesh melting, while the guy on my right is doing every Bruce Lee move at the same time, and the guy in front of me is flourishing a broadaxe like he's doing yo-yo tricks, I'm going to give them enough floor space to not liquefy myself. Your party has finally reached the Forest of Spike. Legends speak of a great power, weapon or evil stored inside, depending on which legends you believe. Outside the entrance to the forest is an ancient sign that your scholar spends an hour translating. When he finally finishes, he tells you the sign says, "This is not a place of honor. Nothing of value is kept here. Go away." What does your party do? Barbarian. Into the forest. Bard. Find the nearest hole and try to pick it. Cleric. Tell the party that your god shall protect them. Druid. Try to use your powers to restore the forest to its former beauty. Fighter. Draw your sword and proceed with caution. Monk. Trust your instincts and proceed. Paladin. Announce that no evil shall escape my righteous judgment. Then run into the forest. Ranger. Use your animal companion to scout ahead in case of any danger. Rogue. Cry and piss yourself because the forest looks scory. Sorcerer. Burn it all down to the sound of the druid crying. Warlock. Decide to live there because it fits my character's aesthetic, or that's what my character would do. Wizard. Push the scholar aside and try to translate it yourself. Do you include mental, physical scarring or the loss of limbs in your games for the players? If so, how do you do it? And what would be the ideal way to go about it? Depends on the severity of the injury or trauma. I once had a sorcerer who was disintegrated by Beholder. Then the Beholder resurrected him and forced him to fight us. Once we defeated the Beholder, the sorcerer returned to normal. However, the player decided that his PC would have PTSD nightmares about the experience, which led the character to develop a fear of Beholderkin. Fear of Beholderkin. There's a word for this, it's called common sense. Cleric casts Speak with Dead. Asks, "Can you hear me?" without thinking about it. Sometimes it's the little things. We threw the illusionist out of the room after he asked the corpse we were interrogating if it wanted a glass of water because it sounded scratchy. Tell me about your edgelord players. What's the worst thing they've ever done? Did the GM allow their fuckery? Are you an edgelord? A buddy of mine, we'll call him M, from work wanted to try out D&D. Told him I was busy DMing another game but I'd be happy to plan a one-shot for him, his son and his brother-in-law. Secretly, this was a one-shot because I didn't trust him not to be an edgelord spurg. Decide to make a self-contained fun story about some wacky but still threatening pirates because his son is like 10 or 11. Tell them they can make their own characters to roleplay but their stories won't have too much effect on the one-shot story. M rolls up a human fighter who specifically hunts vampires because his village was killed by vampires. He's already hunted down and killed all of them, save one, the one who killed his parents. Yikes. Session starts out on a dual-purpose boat, built for transporting prisoners below deck and civilian passengers on deck. Okay Em, your character is on deck with about 30-40 other passengers. It's past supper time, and people are getting restless for the dinner the crew is supposed to provide. What is your character doing? I'm wearing a black cloak with a hood, so I just like to lift up my hood and stare off the edge of the ship. Okay. Son and brother-in-law are having a fun time with some hijinks on the ship and stealing food for themselves and the passengers, while M's character just stares off into the distance, brooding. Skip ahead. Ship gets sunk by pirates. PCs end up washed up on an island that turns out to be the pirates' hideout. What a coincidence. The three of them now have to work as a team as they are the only survivors that weren't taken prisoners from the shipwreck. Now that he's playing and not brooding, M is suddenly really controlling of his son's actions. Out of character, telling him what he can and can't do in-game. It's weirdly aggressive. Son, okay, I'll sneak up to the corner and I'll try to hear what the pirates are talking about. M, oh my god, you're just going to get us caught, it doesn't even matter, just stop. This kind of thing happened multiple times. In the wacky pirate game I made to include his son. I tell son, hey, he's not your dad in the game, your character doesn't have to do what he says. M is visibly annoyed by this. His son continues having fun playing the game and mouthing off to his dad in character. After the game, M tells me I undermined his authority as a father. I tell him the way he was treating his son was shitty and that the game was for him too. Continued to say he's a shitty roleplayer and I had more fun hanging with his kid and his brother-in-law. Awkward at work afterwards. That phase when he got fired for sexual harassment allegations. GM bullshit. So, my GM wants me to put more roleplay into my low wisdom character. I already do this, since I believe in most lies. I don't check for mimics and I don't really think about the stuff I say most of the time. Going so far as to accidentally snitch on our rogue, who robbed the local bank. This phase also gives us roleplay experience. So, what should I do? Roll a new character that has more personality than lol I'm an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. It's quite clear that your GM hates the fact that your character throws a monkey wrench in every session he plays, because if he didn't, he wouldn't ask you to develop your PC's personality. As a side note, I find players like you to be insufferable. You act like a moron and disrupt the game for everyone. Worst of all, you try to justify it by saying, that's what my character would do. Players like you are worse than any min-maxer, edgelord or power player. You are that guy. How long would Alex Jones last in your setting? Crazy conspiracy theorist who believes the local government has placed gay chemicals in water sources, portrays anyone who disagrees with him as demonic or satanic, and thinks a mass shooting that killed little children was a hoax. He would either be the insane cult leader big bad evil guy, or a paladin with a 20 in charisma and a 5 in intelligence. Either way, he would fit perfectly. Play Star Wars game. GM makes an opening crawl for recaps before every session. Get excited seeing my character's name in caps, just like the movies. Cute as ain't on. The Furbolg in our party tasked a squirrel to deliver an urgent written message to our warlock in exchange for acorns or something. When the warlock received the message, he asked the squirrel to lead him back to the Furbolg. Then, when the squirrel started running, he followed it. Of course, the squirrel did not understand a single word of what the warlock said, so the warlock ended up atop a very tall tree, trying to find the goddamn Furbolg, while the squirrel enjoyed his acorns. Why are warlocks so goddamn dumb? Stupid warlocks. I have a guy in Shadowrun who was a recovering bad guy that relapsed in a recent session. Long story short, our group had to go into what is essentially Apache Israel to destroy some place in the area. Everyone there is borderline xenophobic and the cops are as crooked as the day is long. None of our group is the right race to be there, so most of us had an encounter with the law in some form or another during our legwork. Guy, who is playing a charisma-based character, and Decker have their encounters. Guy tries to step in and defuses Decker's encounter after he spaghettis in front of the cops. GM explicitly tells him that he's going to be rolling at a pretty big penalty, but Guy doesn't want to hear any of it. Gets a high roll, but the penalties cause the cops to send back the attempts. Guy immediately jumps to threatening the cop's family with his mob connections. Cop tries to taser him in response and gets killed by Guy in retaliation. Later, tries to actually use his mob connections to put a hit on the cop's family. The funny part is, all he had to do to defuse the situation prior to his escalation was pay a bribe. The best part is that he acted like a whiny baby about it and failed to realize the irony in that he was on the receiving end of what he did as a GM in the session prior to this, where he sandbagged one player's role the entire run. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like if you did and subscribe for more, it helps me out a lot. Follow me on Twitch, there's a link below. Also join the Discord server if you want to share your stories there. Check out the videos that are on screen. If you enjoyed this one, you'll probably enjoy those as well. And yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, bye.